Laugh Factory Network.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Who am I? You sure you want to know?
What does that make us? Sidekicks?
It's the Trusty Sidekick podcast with your hosts, Jay Washington, Bobby Hill.
What's happening, everybody? We are back. It is episode 82 of the Trusty Sidekick podcast here on the Laugh Factory Podcast Network with me, your resident supervillain, Mr. Jay Washington.
And me, your resident superhero, Bobby Hill.
We should have been started recording this normally, but because Bobby's computer wanted to act a
Oh my god, what the I don't understand computer. Like, I understand them a little, and I understand them enough to like get them to a point where I need them to be sometimes.
Yeah.
But I always get to a point where they are getting too slow first, and then I have to go through this whole process while they're slow to unslow them. You know what I mean?
To what?
To unslow them. You gotta unslow the computer.
Okay.
So I can get them unslowed, but then, but it is a process. And usually when I find out that they've been slowed up is when I'm in the midst of having to do some like shit where I don't got time to do some unslowing. You know what I mean? They know what I mean. You guys know what I mean.
I bet they do. What's your week been like, man?
Oh man, my week's been great. I've done a ton of crazy shit. Worked on a music video. Worked on a music video with Wiz Khalifa. I can talk about that. It was very fun. Wiz was there for 30 minutes. He was on set for about 10 of those minutes. He was doing a guest verse on another guy's song. And we were in Brentwood, which the owner was, of course, an old white dude because that's who owns homes in Brentwood. Mm-hmm. They let one brother own a home, but that didn't turn out so good.
He's a basketball greatness.
It was funny because we were worried about Wiz getting caught smoking on the premises because he wasn't supposed to be smoking on the premises. Like, the white guy let us use the house without Googling Wiz Khalifa, right? Like, and the daughter for sure didn't do it. And it's like, wouldn't you Google Wiz Khalifa, bitch? Like, even if you don't know who Wiz Khalifa is,
just the name
coming up with the name Wiz Khalifa requires some marijuana.
Like,
okay?
I need to really figure out who the fuck Wiz Khalifa is.
And Wiz Khalifa was gonna smoke weed. Okay, he was gonna. Yeah. There was no stopping Wiz Khalifa on set. So that was pretty cool. I actually closed out Ruthless People last night in West Hollywood, which is a very fun show that is followed by one of the best weekly drag shows you'll find in the country, which, hey, there is a listing, I'm sure. I haven't looked for one, but I'm sure there's a listing of the best drag shows on a weekly basis in the country. And I guarantee this, because there's people who are on like RuPaul's Drag Race that are there and just perform, right? So, but the comedy show was great. I got to close it out. Shout out to Samantha Hale and wishing her mom all the best. She's going through some shit. It was a lot of fun. What about you, man? How was your week?
Week was pretty decent for myself. I was in the part of the NoHo
for yourself, it was good.
The week for myself was good. I was a part of the NoHo Comedy Festival, which shouts out to Jack Asadoria Jr. and Lucas Seeley.
It's just prim and proper women,
huh?
The NoHo Comedy Festival.
You know what?
Super clean female comics.
This is the non-harlot comedy festival, is what you're saying?
Right.
No Jezebels?
No harlots in this.
No harlots, no hussies.
No loose women.
No loose.
No women of low moral standards.
No, a woman
that sounds like a terrible festival. No, I'm kidding. It was a great.
It's the North Hollywood.
Right, and that's Jack Asadorian, right?
Yeah, Jack and Lucas Seeley
family. Those guys are great. Shout out to Jack Asadorian.
It was a great amount of shows throughout North Hollywood, man. It was a fun time meeting a lot of comics. Shouts out to the homie Jay Whitaker. He came through. He's from Salt Lake City. You could check out the exclusive interview I did with him, in which lets me remind you guys real quick. I'm trying to fix it.
Let him know real quick. You spend the first 20 minutes of every episode, and all people do is listen to our voices get super weird for the first 20 minutes.
I mean,
you just gotta let it go. Like, you gotta get your Frozen on, buddy.
I don't know. It's
let it be what it's gonna be.
Look, Check out the exclusive interview I did with Jay Whitaker of the Geek Show podcast. Also, we're going to be doing a lot more exclusive interviews with people, but those are only going to be a part of our Patreon. So if you want to hear those, you are going to have to go to the Trusty Sidekick Patreon, which you can find on thetrustysidekick.com. Become a patron. There are various tiers. We're doing a lot of things. Also, what we're going to start doing is there will be more than just normal Marvel and DC reviews and critiques, but those will only be available to those who subscribe on Patreon. So if you want to get there, you need to go over to the Patreon.
Also, bathing suit pics. Jay in a bathing suit.
I don't know how to fuck.
Only part of the Patreon. If you want to see Jay in his banana hammock, it is a Patreon exclusive.
First of all, this mug been talking about being in a banana hammock for the past 3.5 weeks.
I got banana hammock fever, man. It's summertime in Los Angeles.
For some reason, like Bobby was
I saw a brother with a white towel the other day, which means summer is kicked off.
Yo. Let's get
at a bus stop with a white towel. I was like, oh, it's summertime.
It's summer officially. This nigga's got a towel out. Nigga's got his towel out. It's time for Eddie in the fresh white tee. It is summertime.
That seems like a pretty irreverent opening, considering this is the first movie we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of opening this past weekend, of course, Deadpool 2 opened up at box offices worldwide, and of course, it was the #1 movie, second highest opening weekend, for an R-rated film. So
yeah. Now we obviously did not feel initially the same about the first Deadpool, right?
No.
And I have argued with a number of people about Deadpool and have had to fight to change a lot of hearts and minds.
I have been fighting like a motherfucker.
I have kissed hands and shaken babies all across this great nation.
You have gone on a campaign of why you did not like the first Deadpool.
Of just trying to let people know like where the large flaws were in this movie.
Yeah.
And it seems to me like it was a director problem.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I think we can pretty much say that after having seen the second.
This was a much better movie.
Okay, so you definitely enjoyed the second one.
This was a much better movie. This was a complete movie. It wasn't a perfect movie. It had flaws.
Mm-hmm.
It was, but it was a complete movie. It was a movie where I understood the story. Everything was working. It didn't seem like it was loaded up too much in one part. Like there was no part where action was too big, and other places where it just trailed off. Like the ending was actually bigger than everything else that was going on. You know what I mean? Like there was an actual.
They didn't need a helicarrier.
The climax wasn't 25 minutes into the movie, which was a nice change of pace after the first one.
Well, I mean, they sort of did the same thing. Oh yeah, by the way, before we go any further, if you ain't seen Deadpool 2 yet,
you should probably
you might want to shut this off.
Skip forward. Skip forward. If your app has a fast forward 30 seconds, do that about for the next 4-5 minutes and see where we're at.
And then just because we're gonna talk, it's gonna be spoilers. The one thing about they did the same thing with a middle part in the beginning,
right?
But it wasn't the full middle like we got in the first one.
It was just a brief glimpses to set you up for everything else, though. It wasn't. And here's the thing: the action. I'm telling you, in that first 15-20 minutes of that first Deadpool, the level of action going on there in CGI was grander than you saw the rest of the entire movie.
True.
And so it was this giant start that then trailed from then on out. Whereas this was a solid start, but then it kept being stronger. And then by the time you got to the Juggernaut, it was such a great reveal.
Which, by the way, the Juggernaut is in this bitch, and yeah, you get it, Juggernaut on the Juggernaut bitch.
Yeah.
The Juggernaut is in it, and he is done justice. You know what I'm saying?
It's
better.
A solid Juggernaut.
It's a very solid Juggernaut compared to what we saw in X3, The Last Stand, which Vinnie Jones. It's properly
absurd in the way that Juggernaut usually is.
Yeah.
It looks like a version that it looks like a very comic book style quality Juggernaut.
Shouts out to Ryan Reynolds, who did the mocap and the voice for Juggernaut,
which was a surprise.
Yeah, I told Bobby about that. He was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah. How do you feel about some of the characters who came back? Vanessa, Colossus is back in this one.
They did a lot more with Colossus this movie this time around.
Yeah,
I think they're more comfortable with the CGI.
Like a bigger budget, right?
Yo, him losing a tooth while fighting the Juggernaut was something I was very much pleased with.
Yeah.
Those minor little details.
The difficulty that you have with dealing with metallic skin on a body is always contraction of muscles, right? When you're contracting an arm or squatting, it's always, where does that metal go? How do we show that metal working? And I think they did a really good job of allowing him to like move without us getting lost in that detail.
It looked like I said, it looked very legit. You know, of course, you enhance and go further from what you did in the first film, so they were definitely dope on that.
They really expanded their use of. I mean, you got a lot more characters in this, a lot more CGI.
Yo, Dopinder in this is, oh my god,
really up the game. Well, you know, they had a brief thing with Bob in the first one, and then it didn't carry through. So Dopinder seems like he's playing that role, where, you know what I mean, like, because in the comics, Deadpool has this guy named Bob who ends up being a Hydra agent, but he's really like a low level kind of a guy. But Deadpool always runs into him, right? And so Dopinder seems to be filling that role here in the movies, which I think is great.
I love it. He had a lot of funny scenes, especially what he did at the end, which no one expected. It was like, okay, this works.
That was so great.
Negasonic Teenage Warhead, Brianna Hildebrand, she was still the same character, just a little bit older now.
Yeah.
You know, now we're gonna talk about this in a second. I'm gonna get
that is the thing, right? We'll get back to her and her involvement in this.
Yeah, because it's somewhere. T.J. Miller. Now here's the question about that.
They kept him brief.
Do you think they cut a lot of his stuff down?
Yeah, I think I think rightfully so. They gave more shine to some of these other characters. I think the beefing up of Dopinder's role in this movie was good.
Well, no. Remember, T.J. Miller's accusations and everything had come out after the film was done.
Right.
They were done production.
Right.
I think they were probably finalizing the edits. Do you think they were like, okay, so he talks about this. We need to cut these things out?
Sure. Yeah, I could see that for sure happening. For sure, I can see that happening. I also like the Leslie Uggams, the brief little bits that we get.
First of all
money. She steals every scene.
Can we talk about how the fact that there were 2 kilos of cocaine next to the cure for blindness, which he told her in the first Deadpool, he was like, "There's 116 kilos of cocaine right next to the cure for blindness, buried somewhere in the house. Good luck." When he put that whole kilo to his face,
and then he closed it and he fucking popped it. It was perfect. Yeah, and there's this need you have to express about this character that this is not your regular superhero.
Right.
This guy is irreverent. He doesn't really give a fuck about most things. He doesn't. It's all ridiculous to him. He's got a mutant power that won't let him die, even if he blows himself up. So what is there to give a fuck about? You know what I mean? Like, nothing matters if that's what you're dealing with on a daily basis.
Some of the new characters that they introduced, I really like. One kind of disappointed me more than anything else.
So Russell is the original new character that we get.
That ain't the one that disappointed me.
He becomes Fire Fist. How do you feel about him, the young kid with the New Zealand accent?
I said this, and this is in no way to be disrespectful to Julian Dennison, who plays the role. That role could have been filled by anybody.
Sure. I don't know how much of the little quips that he has are his. You know what I mean? He may be very good improvisationally.
Yeah,
and that may be why it worked. Because I liked him. I thought he was
cool.
Like, I thought he was cheeky.
Did you see the article where he said he felt uncomfortable cursing?
No.
There's an article he said he felt very uncomfortable swearing.
Really?
You couldn't tell in the film.
No, he got it out pretty easily.
Kind of like Leonardo DiCaprio saying nigga. Now,
what a Cable, Josh Brolin played Cable.
And did a goddamn great job.
What a job. And they made fun of the fact that he was shorter than
he was like, he's not 6'7", he's 5'11". He's 5'11". Yeah, but the fact that he was able to pull off something, like, we all saw the pictures of him getting ripped, but it still didn't help with the height and the size, which I know I was a big stickler on that. Like, if he's not at least 6 feet, jacked up dude, don't do this. Because there was Ron Perlman, Anson Mount, the list goes on and on.
But he killed it he reimagined the idea of who Cable was as a character in a way that
CGI
worked.
on the techno-organic virus in his body? You know what? He's 2 for 2 with the superhero films.
He killed. He killed. I thought it was a really solid job of. And here's the thing: it is. We talk about this when it comes to live action. That allowing an artist to be able to put out their version of a thing has got to be very important, right? You got somebody do that, and it works, letting him kind of create this version of Cable that is now the movie version of Cable that you have for right now. You know what I mean? The performance that he gives is more important than him being the actual biggest thing.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Especially when you've got Colossus and Juggernaut, and like it's just one more big guy that it's an issue, right?
Yeah.
So it works that he's not the biggest dude because it still gives him somebody who's like, fuck, I gotta deal with this Juggernaut guy possibly. I don't want to fucking do that.
Yeah.
You know, versus if he was a 6'4" dude who looked like a big ass fucking defensive end, he'd be like, yeah, bring this nigga on.
But did you know he was like, you released the Juggernaut, you cunt. I was like, damn. I was like, damn.
We see Black Tom in
That
this.
was what I was disappointed about.
My problem with Black Tom is that you see him, but you never get to see a power from him. You just get,
and that's what I'm talking about. Like, I wanted to see what the concussion blast.
It was a good casting. I thought
Jack Kesey was amazing for it. But what is your superpower? Cultural appropriation.
When they kept coming back to that joke where he's like, "You're racist."
You killed Black Tom, you dick. I think that was the reason I was disappointed about that, because like I said, I knew of the character, you know, him hitting people with the shillelagh, the concussion blast that comes through, and he channels it through the wood, and him being in the icebox in the movie, we didn't get to see him use any abilities. So also, before I go any further, the icebox with Wade with the collar on, I love that we see him dying.
Oh yeah,
like it sounds weird.
Oh yeah,
you see the cancer and the tumors coming back,
dude. When he fucking throws himself off that thing and lands on the table and cracks his back off just to pop that thing open, you're just like, oh. So I was like, oh, can I just throw up now? Is that a thing I could do?
Everybody was like the whole. So I saw it twice back days, and the entire theater the first night I saw it, Thursday night, was like, oh! In unison. Let's talk about X-Force.
Yes.
2 whole minutes. Now, I'd been told, and I think Bobby didn't want to hear it. I was going to tell him before. I had been heard for the longest that X-Force would be only in this film for 2 minutes.
Right.
And a lot of people was going to probably be upset. But the 2 minutes they did here worked.
I mean, it is, when it comes to cameos or an extended cameo, their inclusion of these guys and like selling them for who they are. Like I was sold on Shatterstar's character.
I think they sold the movie on Shatterstar.
I mean, I'd bought into all those guys. I was like, cool, I'm ready to see these motherfuckers go to work. Like I was bought in. I was ready to roll, and then dead in a heartbeat.
Dude, Terry Crews is battle because remember in the trailers we see him in the streets fighting. Right. So you're like, oh shit, we gonna see him do some work. This boy come out of parachute, get hit by a bus. Oh, Bill Skarsgård is Zeitgeist. That was funny. Rob Delaney is Peter.
Oh man, it's interesting because there is a lot of talk of him being Mr. Pete or whatever from the comics with and he had a superpower. So I'm not sure if that's something that's still going to come from him at some point or if it even matters. But it's a great bit of comic relief in the middle of the movie. There's a you know what I mean. There's a mode here where then you kind of build together how this is going to happen and why. It creates a depth to Deadpool understanding again the importance of a family, which I think is a lot of what this movie is about.
Domino, Zazie Beetz is just,
she kills it.
Yo, when they first of all to be able to show how somebody's power is luck,
right?
And just to physically, and while she's running through shit, and she runs through oncoming traffic.
And then when she lands in the panda and she just walks out, she's like, "This is fucking cool. This is cool. All right."
After the whole convoy is flipped over, so Zazie Beetz was amazing through this. There was no doubt.
Yukio, you get Yukio.
So here's what we talked about with Yukio. So in this movie, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, now they officially she has a girlfriend in Yukio, which I believe, and I telling Bobby about this, Wade gonna fuck Yukio. You really can see it coming because they were hi Yukio, hi Wade, the whole movie, right?
Right.
There was an article that came out that it frustrated me personally, and
I obviously read that article also.
Yeah, it's about Negasonic Teenage Warhead, about Deadpool's pansexualism, and Negasonic Teenage Warhead being of the LGBTQ community, and why wasn't it explored even more?
Well, that's not what the movie's about.
That's not what the film is about.
Yeah. I mean, it's not every movie that has characters has to go into deep dive.
It doesn't. It has no
characters are. In fact, I thought part of the idea of inclusion was here are these people, and it shouldn't matter.
And that's literally how
we're
it's
just
treated.
accepting this is who they are. Like the fact that we're putting characters into movies now who have roles where we're just accepting that that's what they are.
There are normal people
have to go
in the
through
sense.
This whole thing of like explaining and breaking down every single movie about how about how their lifestyle works. It's like no, we just know that there's a people that love each other and just let it go. That was like one of the cool things about the show Caprica that used to be on Sci-Fi. It was only on for like a season or whatever, but they had relationships that were there were group relationships, there were a number of polyo, and nobody cared. It was just like there wasn't a lot of discussion as to why they were having them. It was just this is what's accepted now. And so part of just accepting and normalizing something is not making a big deal out of the fact that it exists every time that you use it. They're exploring pansexuality here. You don't have to spell it out for everybody. It's happening. The fact that you even have a movie where your main hero is a pansexual person should be something that we sit here and applaud. Right?
Look, Deadpool grabbed Colossus' ass several times.
Yeah.
And we know that's what he do because we already said it's come out. He's pansexual.
Yeah. I mean, there's when Vanessa says don't fuck Colossus.
He says don't fuck Elvis. He's like don't fuck Colossus.
He's like what? And then what is not like how dare you? The what is like right? Are you speaking something that like
is about to happen? Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? Are you expressing this emotion? So like and that scene towards the end when Colossus picks him up and carries him, the fact that he plays the song, he comes out there. To
oh my god!
Like there are moments, and so. Why do you have to beat somebody over the head with a hammer and be like, do you see what we're doing? You don't have to do that. You can just let it be what it's going to be.
Yeah, that upset me a lot because you pretty much hit everything on the head. Like, yo, why do we need to just delve into it when it's established?
Right.
The biggest thing that has been about the LGBTQ community was include us like we're normal people and just go about your day. And that's exactly what they did with this.
Right.
They did what you asked for.
They're not beating anybody over the head with the basic relationship between Deadpool and Vanessa. They're not sitting there going into depth and explaining how their relationship works. They just love each other. That's it. They love each other. He's super into her. It's done.
There's no black people in there. We're not tripping. Now,
it's very light on.
I mean, besides Blind Al, the only black person is a blind black woman, and she stays in her basement. Now, but no, seriously, it's just that the inclusion is there.
Right.
Don't go into why didn't they do this?
There are movies that you make about sexual relations with people or relationships with people, and you can explore those in those movies. That's what those movies are about. But then there's other movies like this is a Marvel superhero movie about a killer mercenary who breaks the fourth wall. None of that demands anything other than that process. Yep. Right? So there's no need to put any of that in there. They're putting it in there because they want to be inclusive. That's it.
So, lastly about this real quick, the cameos.
Right.
Alan Tudyk.
Yes.
Matt Damon.
Yes.
Which under makeup, if you didn't pay attention, you'd have missed him. But the best one for me, Brad fucking Pitt. I'm sorry. Brad Pitt is dope. The X-Men is the best one for me.
I think the X-Men is actually the killer one because Brad Pitt's commitment wasn't that big.
It wasn't.
Brad Pitt was a short commitment. That's 7 minutes. I think he spent 7 minutes on set.
And that was it.
Very quick. But I think the X-Men bit where they had all those characters in there.
Nicholas Hoult had to put on the entire Beast makeup.
Which means he went through costume, which means they paid makeup and wardrobe for that spot.
For that little bitty spot. For him to close a door.
Yeah.
What did you think overall?
Like I said, way better than the first movie. It made me excited that hopefully they would do a 3. Hopefully David Leitch comes back to do the 3rd if they let him do it. I'd like to see his version of what happens from here. I think it's good. I was happy.
And the post-credit scenes, of course, I think these are arguably the best post-credit scenes in the history of comic book movies.
Yeah.
Because he literally has erased history. That's what Deadpool does. He breaks the fourth wall. He went and shot the X-Men Origins Wolf.
So that's over. That's canon for Fox.
It's canon.
It's canon,
and that's why he changed.
That's why he did it. So
it's
canon for Fox is that never happened.
And Green Lantern was the greatest because he kept teasing about it consistently. So I think that was dope. Speaking of Deadpool 3, Rhett Reese, who's one of the writers of the film, is hinting at Vanessa becoming copycat because a lot of people thought that's what she was going to be anyway when she was introduced.
Right.
There's been no talk of her powers yet, but
and Rhett Reese does have ideas for 3. So if they get to do a 3, he's ready to jump in and write.
As far as X-Force, now we did say they were only in 2 minutes because the majority of them died. Now here's the catch: there was supposed to be a movie coming out, right?
Yeah.
There's no script.
Not yet.
No storyline.
There are some ideas as to how they want to do that too, though. So there are some thoughts as to how they want to do that.
The catch behind that is they don't know what's going to happen come this acquisition and merger with Disney, if that goes through or if they go to Comcast.
Right.
Because they don't know.
That's still not a done deal. That's what I'm saying.
It's not a done deal. Zazie Beetz is signed on for 3 more films, sort of. Like
kind of. She signed on for 3 more Fox movies.
Yeah, so she can
she could end up in another Deadpool movie or an X-Force movie, or she could end up just in some other movie that Fox has. You know what I mean?
Also, in some X-Men type news, X-Men Dark Phoenix is now just Dark Phoenix.
Yes.
They dropped it and it was revealed in a poster.
And that's how it is now.
Supposedly Simon Kinberg, who is a director, says this is more grounded and stays towards the comics. The last time we heard that, we got X-Men The Last Stand. I just want you all to remember that.
Now, one thing that you and I will definitely agree on.
This shit is going to be horrible.
Well, no, one thing we definitely agree on is X-Men The Last Stand was for sure horrible. So, if this is like X-Men The Last Stand, we're going to have a problem. Okay? If it's like X-Men The Last Stand, we're going to have a problem. You know what I mean? That's going to be an issue. Spider-Man 2 news. This is big news. This is huge news for the MCU.
You know what? It kills the rumors. So, Jake Gyllenhaal is going to be Mysterio.
Dude. Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio is... Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio is a winner.
I'm not better.
Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio is a winner, dude. Bro, after the people that they have in the other
I want you to hear 4 out of your Sinister 6 already.
Right.
Michael Keaton is your Vulture.
Dope as fuck.
Bokeem Woodbine is your Shocker.
Also fucking dope as fuck.
Michael Mondo is your Scorpion.
Dude, I'm telling you, go find Orphan Black and watch Orphan Black. Michael Mondo fucking kills it in a character role. And now Jake
Gyllenhaal is your fucking Mysterio.
Yeah, which means you got another badass motherfucker. Jake Gyllenhaal plays a cool, scary fucking villain.
And then you get 2 more, and we don't even know which 2.
I have no idea who they are. Do you think they'll be slackers? Probably not.
Do you think we can get a new Doc Ock?
Oh, dude. Who plays Doc?
Who's available?
Doc Ock? Let's see. Now you got to start figuring out like who isn't in the other seasons of something now.
And the question becomes: does he have to be an older doctor, or can he be younger? He has to be basically within the age range.
Do you go Electro? Or do you go Lizard? Do you go Rhino?
I think you redo Electro. No, you can't do Electro because you got Shocker. No point. Mm-hmm. There's no point. You do Doc Ock. I think you do the Rhino. Because it was screwed over.
Do you do Morbius? And introduce Morbius into this world?
Morbius would come in. Ooh, shit. Ooh.
Uh-huh.
Because he could come in fucking Venom, the Spider-Verse and Sony. Because remember, they're doing Silver and Black, which is still kind of on hold right now.
And there's been talk about doing Morbius. There's people that definitely want to do Morbius.
So they want to bring in Morbius. So, God damn it, Bobby.
There's a few... and then you start wondering, like, which iconic people could step into some of these roles, right? Like, could you pull over, like, a George Clooney to be somebody?
No, I don't think we want to do Clooney.
Come on.
I can't take Clooney.
When does John Hamm get involved, and who?
I think that's who you give. You give John Hamm.
John Hamm.
He needs to be.
They're like, get the guy into a thing.
Why can't we? What is taking so long to get John Hamm? Also, WWE superstar Titus O'Neil is set to be in a Marvel film in an undisclosed role.
What about Kraven the Hunter? That's a character I want to see.
Well, that's not a. I don't think you put him in the Sinister Six.
He's been in the Sinister Six before.
I mean, he has for sure. I just don't know if you do that iteration because I want to see him chase the fuck out of little Tom Holland through New York City. Because for those who don't know the story of Kraven,
I mean, Titus O'Neil is a huge dude,
and he's lost weight and trimmed up. And he tweeted and said, "Thank you."
Sandman.
Could it? I mean, we could switch the role. Flint Marko doesn't have to be fucking white dude.
Nope, he doesn't.
He does not have to be a white dude.
He could be a big ass built dude.
Yes, he could. Who
Could
knows?
they retry Sandman again? Well, here's the
send us
deal.
your thoughts
I
on
think Jake
these.
Gyllenhaal coming in as Mysterio is a big deal. I think it's a bigger deal because there had been such a long rumored thing that he was going to become Batman. We've been talking forever about the fact he was Batman. He and Matt Reeves had a kinsmanship. They were supposed to be the big deal. He wanted him to do this. What the fuck is it with DC and Warner Brothers and Batman?
Who knows?
Why does nobody want to be
supposedly
Batman? What is about Batman?
Here's something to make you upset that I didn't want to put in the news. Since we brought up Gyllenhaal, there are rumors that Affleck said he may stick around.
Yes.
Now
Listen.
Let's get ready to rumble!
I have long cried out to fight Ben Affleck in the streets. Okay, I believe that if I do catch him still right now, because this turmoil makes the whole franchise uneasy. Still, okay, this whole turmoil makes the franchise uneasy, and the thing he needs to do is stabilize it. And if you can't get together, we need to talk about it. We need to get. It's just like embrace it, dude. Understand nobody gives a fuck about Accountant 2 or whatever the fuck you're trying to do. You know what I mean? Nobody gives a fuck. Everybody wants you to be old Bruce Wayne. Be old Bruce Wayne, goddammit.
Be Henry as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, be old Bruce Wayne. Be in 15 movies. Tony Stark the fuck out. Get all that money and
get that horrible ass tattoo off your back.
Then win Jennifer Garner's heart back, okay?
And get up that horrible ass tattoo off your back. Let's stick with Marvel news. Avengers 4. Now, Jim Starlin is getting an additional created by credit.
Yeah, this is the guy who created Thanos and Gamora and Drax and a number other of Marvel characters.
He should
but
have.
Those are the three characters that were mainly featured in Infinity War. He's getting an additional credit, so that means there's a new character of his that's in the next Avengers that he's responsible for. So, rumor is it's Mentor.
Because they are introducing the Eternals. And we mentioned his father.
The Eternals are coming.
The Eternals are coming.
This is a thing that's they are going all in. What do you think about that when it comes down to it? Like they've done this whole very Earth based, very like gold. It was almost like
I wish y'all could see my faces. I'm looking at Bobby like, they did Guardians.
Yes, I understand that, but I mean, there are people that kind of lost interest in Marvel when they started getting into the super cosmic shit. Like there are people that fell off from Marvel when the super cosmic shit started happening.
But now they're able to do it.
So like, what do you, as a fan, is that something you're down for?
Yeah.
Are you down for the cosmic shit?
Because I think it's time you take away what everybody knew and started new in a sense.
Well, I also like the idea of removing things from Earth because
that's what I'm saying.
Once you're stuck on Earth and there's all these like earthly implications of things happening, which is like, oh, what's going to happen to Chicago now?
What's going to happen to New York? So right, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can get on space everybody knew Earth consistently. Right. Yeah. Take it away. Make planets and galaxies that we've never heard of. Make them become the impending threat.
Yeah. Being able to have that part of Infinity War where Tony Stark and all those guys are on Titan when it's all fucking trash and you can just fucking, hey man, we can shoot whatever the fuck we want here,
Right, and it works.
Yeah, it's great.
It works. Speaking of the Eternals, they have hired writers for it.
Yeah.
So Matthew and Ryan Firpo, is it Firpo?
Firpo. Yeah, it sounds like one of those furry things you buy from Toys R Us. But it's his last name. It's their last name. They're brothers, Matthew and Ryan Firpo.
Yes. Now, their only known script that they have done is called Ruin. It
made the blacklist. Yeah, are you familiar with the blacklist?
It's those scripts that are really out there that you might want to go ahead and buy. And
so
option
if you're unfamiliar with, we'll give you a little Hollywood insight. Scripts circulate all the time. A lot of times, the people that end up making the movies don't even read the fucking scripts. There's people that work in these agencies that do coverage, and so of those people that read and do coverage, there's usually a collection that they kind of come out with, and there's a list of 10 that they come out with every year. So, oftentimes they end up becoming movies. They oftentimes end up becoming Academy Award winners, nominees, things like that. If you look over the last 10 years of movies that have won awards, a bunch of them have been blacklist scripts. So
that's dope.
So if you make the blacklist, odds are if your movie gets made, it's going to be an award winner. You're going to get solid actors. It's going to get buzz. You're on the path of money. So apparently they can write a good script. They've been given the Eternals. We'll see how that works.
I'm for it.
I'm down. Let's see if that works.
Now let's go over to a little bit of MCU Netflix news.
Yes,
this one got my heart palpitating.
I am ready for this.
Daredevil Season 3, we are introducing Bullseye, ladies and gentlemen. Bullseye is coming. Wilson Bethel from Heart of Dixie has signed on to play by the targeted. Is he a mutant?
Are you familiar with Wilson Bethel?
I am not. I've seen him before.
I'm not a big Heart of Dixie guy.
I've seen him before.
I'm not sure if
that's why my heart fluttered when I heard.
Much of a Heart of
my
Dixie
heart
guy.
fluttered because I heard Bullseye was coming first and foremost. Because I wanted now. Don't get me wrong. Colin Farrell's interpretation in the Ben Affleck Daredevil
with the whole bald head with the fucking
my hands. You took my hands.
the smolder of a 5'9" Colin Farrell.
I don't give a fuck. He killed the shit out of that old lady on the plane. He kept talking to him with that peanut.
You know what else that movie is important for?
What?
The introduction of Ben Affleck to Jennifer Garner.
Just like
the whole situation that's created where we are right now.
Which is crazy because even if I go to DC, Green Lantern is what introduced Ryan Reynolds to Blake Lively.
Yep.
So let's go over this. Speaking of DC, let's go to DC.
Hold on, before that, I do like the fact Bullseye's coming. They're playing him differently this time. It's apparently he may be a member of the police force. He's a sharpshooter in the police force. He's got above average accuracy, so that might be part of what creates a character. Because the Netflix shows are super grounded for the most part.
I can live with this.
They're going to stay with that. Also, Vincent D'Onofrio is wrapped.
Yeah, I saw Vincent D'Onofrio is wrapped for season 3. He said, "Look, he said in a tweet, I can't remember to quote it. He said that what we have coming for you guys is something y'all gonna love." So, look, fam, I've been a fan since they told me he was gonna be Wilson Fisk.
I'm so glad that he's back.
I mean, look, let's do this.
Yeah.
All right, DC news. In Flash news,
What? Flash news?
There's still a Flash movie.
Oh, a Flash movie.
Yeah,
you almost forgot that was a thing that existed.
No, that's
didn't you?
still fucking happening. Kiersey Clemons has reconfirmed that she will be Iris West in this movie.
That's like when you see somebody out without their engagement ring, and then the guy be like, "No, just so everybody knows, Terrence and I are still together.
Don't get shit twisted.
Don't be coming all up my DMs talking about what you
my motherfucking knuckles hurt, so I took that shit off. But we together, bitches.
My shit was ashy. I forgot to put it on after I lotion.
I fucking cut you."
Anyway, Kiersey Clemons for the 8th time has reconfirmed that she is still on to play Iris West. Her agent should be trying to get her some more business so she could start to create some competition here. Maybe spend some money to keep her.
Buddy.
That'd be a good idea. Shazam is fully wrapped now. They're completely done shooting that movie. We got a straight-on look of the Shazam outfit from the front. Your thoughts on this, Jay Washington? You already look like you are as nonplussed as I am.
I don't really believe in this shit. You can't convince me otherwise.
It is so. This movie is gonna they're gonna play really hard on the
childlike part.
Yeah, super heavy. Mm-hmm. They're gonna make it super goofy this way. I'm hoping that it's not too campy. Mm-hmm. Like I'm hoping that he fucking. Shazam still fucking gets into mature dude mode when it's time to throw down. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping they don't make it too cartoonish. But I don't feel that's going to happen.
Bobby can read this next bit of news because I have something else I'd rather read for y'all because it ties right into this bullshit he's
I will read the next bit of news. You had one of the greatest fucking
Yeah, that's what I'm about to talk about. Tweets.
Oh my God. It was so... I was fucking dying when I saw that, dude. I literally was like, that's super brilliant. Anyway, Pennyworth, a new show that's been announced. Pennyworth may sound familiar to some of you that really know your DC knowledge. To others of you, you may be like,
Alfred fucking Pennyworth, okay? The fucking butler is getting a show. Do you fucking understand?
Now, he's getting a show on Epix Network, which means if I don't have it in something I get for free, I'm not going to be watching
Nigga, who buying a network to see the butler? You tell me Jeffrey from Fresh Prince got a fucking show I might watch.
I would have watched that.
You tell me Benson would have had a show. Rest in peace,
Benson
Robert
had
Williams.
a show. It was a show about a butler. Oh shit. Okay, now we got precedence.
We got precedence. You know what I'm saying? But I don't give a fuck about no Alfred.
This is actually from Bruno Heller, the creator of Gotham. It's a
you son of a bitch. I'm sorry.
It is a straight to. It's a direct to series order, which means they will get all 10 episodes. That's going to happen for sure. Now, here's the story. It's going to explore Alfred's origin as a former British SAS soldier who forms a secret company and goes to work with Thomas Wayne, Bruce's billionaire father, in 1960s London. So it's like Agent Carter, but it's like the white male version.
Nigga, what? Yo, it's like Agent Carter, but it's the straight white male version.
Yeah.
Shouts out Josh Denny, dumb it.
Yeah, it's Agent Carter, but like before progressivism, right? It's
before you didn't have to burn your bras in the street.
It's just, I mean, it's basically like, before we're like, hey, shouldn't we let women be the stars of some of these? That's the type of show.
Oh, that's the show. They was like during the 60s. They was like, is she showing skin?
If they wanted to be progressive, the real way they would reimagine it is it would be like Alfreda Pennyworth. And it would be
First of all, let me go. Number one. If Pennyworth, Alfreda, and those two names don't match, okay, because you're not going to have
that sounds like a lifelong maid. That sounds like somebody who's not going to marry
She sounds like the type of maid like Bubba's mama before it's Gump. And her mama made shrimp.
Alfreda Pennyworth. Alfreda Pennyworth is a badass. I would buy that.
I'm going to tell y'all something. Y'all not going to be messing up my kitchen. I'd have sat there, cooked and cleaned.
So even though this is from Bruno Heller, it's not.
Thomas, sit your ass down.
It's not supposed to be like Gotham. It will not be as far fetched. Sean Pertwee, who plays Alfred on Gotham, is not currently involved in this at the moment, so it will be a different version. It'll be a very younger version, I'm assuming. And it has been joked about before about doing a show about Alfred. Titans Go, the movies, and Funny or Die have both had things where they've made fun of this. So you obviously think this does not need to happen. You think this? I mean, your tweet
from the company.
Go follow Mr. J. Washington.
From the company that brought you Krypton, Metropolis, Pennyworth, and more prequels you probably didn't ask for. Find out the story about one bolt chosen to turn one person to the fastest man alive. See this bolt struggle from a young spark to hero creator. It's Strike, coming to DC TV.
A show about a lightning bolt.
About a lightning bolt.
The lightning bolt that would someday become
the lightning bolt that is Barry Allen.
It strikes Barry Allen and turns him into the Flash.
Yeah.
The struggles this lightning bolt has to overcome. I mean, it has to become a lightning bolt.
In a world.
It's a dumb idea. I don't know why anybody would want to watch that. It's just a show about a dude. Like, you don't really give a shit. Like, it's not connected to Batman at all. It's just this dude in the 60s who meets Thomas Wayne.
So
that's the whole fucking show. That's the show.
Listen,
I used to be an SAS officer, and then I met a really rich billionaire.
And I took a job to say I would protect him and his family.
And that's it. They didn't even get to the part where the family shows up.
Now I don't pay I don't pay taxes ever.
I just live in their house alone and eat all their shit and live off their money and raise their fucking child.
I let him.
Who I turned into a giant vigilante.
I train a child to kill people, but not kill them directly. If they die from their injuries, that is.
If they fall to their death, then they fall to their death. Yeah, let's watch a show about that guy. The guy who would go up and train like a mass vigilante. Sounds like a great idea.
Give me the story
of a lovely lady.
Nope. Of the bow that Oliver Queen.
The tree. No, I want to know the tree that would become the bow.
That would become the bow. What was its lineage to the Incan and Aztec Indian tribe? Fuck.
Oh, shit.
I want the story of the bat that came from South America that made its trek over the seas.
I want to see the story about Dick Grayson's mom. I want to see Dick Grayson. How she became a great trapeze artist. Not connected, no hero shit. Just like Nashville, but trapeze artist.
I want the story of the makeup artist who was making clown makeup, and he was just trying to help out in life. He didn't know that one day.
I want to see the story about the engineer who worked on the arms for Doc Ock.
The one who took an internship.
Like him going to school.
He was like intern.
Just getting through college, you know?
I worked on Doc Ock's arms for college credit.
It's It's so dumb. It's just like, what is the thing that's loosely connected to the real person? Can we just do a movie
want the story
Let's do a movie about their cousin.
of the person who did the oil change on the first Batmobile. How did he know not to tell anybody? And he's held this secret for 35 years.
It's so silly.
The CW, after the upfronts last week in New York, has officially announced their fall schedule.
Yeah.
And there are some shakeups.
There's been some changes. Some of the ones who had not done the best have been moved around a little bit.
Now, we know all of the DC CW shows have been renewed for new seasons. Supergirl goes to 4, Legends to 4, Arrow 7, Flash 5, Black Lightning 2.
Second for the Black Lightning.
Second for Black. Now, Supergirl gets moved to Sunday.
Yeah, they had been juggling Supergirl and Legends of Tomorrow on Monday night. Supergirl is now officially a Sunday night. Now, first of all, CW is now moved to Sunday night programming. They didn't have this before. They now have Sunday night programming.
No, they've had some, but they didn't have the scripted shows.
They did not have any primetime Sunday night programming. This was a big deal for them. They've gone to now 6 nights of television, which is a huge deal for them. And now Supergirl is going to be one of the shows that will be anchoring their Sunday
I'll tell you my
night.
thoughts about that. Legends and Arrow are now on Monday.
Right.
Which
That's your
means
8 p.m., 7 p.m.
That means Arrow season 6 had to do that well in the demographic when they were sitting there trying to fight against other shows on Thursday night. Said, let us give it a prime time slot.
Yeah.
Being 8 p.m., 10 Eastern on Mondays is amazing.
Yeah, well, the other thing about that is that here's how Arrow will be helped. Legends has done really well.
Yes, it is. That too.
So people will watch Legends and then we'll just go, let's just watch Arrow, man. It's on. It's the last season. Fuck it. Let's see what's going on.
Flash and Black Lightning don't change.
No, and they shouldn't change.
Do not touch Tuesday.
There are people that do like although I have some issues with Flash right now, there are people that just love Flash. And I get it, and that makes sense, and that's fine. But as a lead into Black Lightning, it works. And there's a lot of people that now, because Black Lightning has their deal, and people like it, people will watch Flash as a lead in also. Those will play off each other. It works. And here's the deal. They now get everything out the window. Sunday through Tuesday, you've got all your CW shows.
Yep.
It's all positive. And I like the order, too, because Supergirl is the more airy of the shows. It's the less grounded, I think, of a lot of them. And so I like that it leads the schedule, and then it just gets heavier as we go.
It's going to get interesting with Monday because Legends, you have that we go completely outside the box.
Right.
And then back to Arrow, which is going to start out in a Supermax penitentiary we'll talk about later. But I like what they're doing with that, so that's going to be cool. Now, in Marvel show news, now we're going to go to the TV shows, okay?
Yeah. This is where we cover the shows from the previous week. Have you seen everything? I wanted to lead with the season finale of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I felt that was the best way when we were putting this together.
These are tears.
It is not the series finale.
It is the season finale.
Season finale.
I believe it was written as if it was.
They filmed this when they did not know. This was put together. This was done with them with no clue. So the emotion here
is all.
A lot of them, it's the last time they're going to be. They think they're going to be on camera together.
First of all, Graviton Talbot comes to Chicago, which by the way pissed me off. Let me tell you why. Because it wasn't fucking Chicago. Okay. Nigga, no buses in Chicago say Metro.
You know the old Metro buses in Chicago?
They all say CTA. We know about the Chicago Transit Authority. Ain't no Cordova Street in fucking downtown Chicago.
So he just shows up, start pulling out Graviton out the earth.
Why the fuck is this in the earth? What? That is an interesting thing we need to discuss.
Mac takes the lead finally. They vote on who should be in control, and Mac finally gets
S.H.I.E.L.D.
Which worries me because this guy who's been up to space and into the future is still talking about all that matters is what God says.
And whoa, man. God can save y'all, but it's the hope part. Like, nigga, what are you, season 4 Arrow? Like, that is the.
There's nothing about the God that he's actually talking about though that is connected to aliens. Though.
Let me tell you something. God made these aliens, okay?
But he's concerned about you masturbating.
As long as I don't spill it on the floor, okay? So you shall not spill your seed. That's why I keep.
This season has really been about breaking the time loop, right? It's always been in this race to see when's the first thing that could happen that could prove that that the loop has been destroyed.
Right.
And that's this really played out here.
Because all of a sudden everything was happening. Graviton was taking over wrecking shop. The lighthouse was under siege,
and we had to decide whether Coulson was going to try and save himself
or save Talbot.
Everybody.
And Phil Coulson, being the man that he is, Said, no, y'all saving the world.
He slipped it into
Daisy's gauntlet, and she didn't even realize it.
Yeah, until she was there.
Which means he been pickpocketing niggas for the past 5 seasons.
Couple bucks here, couple bucks there. Just pilfering motherfuckers.
Everybody been going for lunch.
Every time everybody gets coffee, he's just like, I got you.
I got you. Like, he didn't went, like, people like, man, I'm $2 short on my sandwich.
Daisy does the right thing, though. She injects it into herself. So
and she blasts the shit out.
She fired this nigga straight into space so quickly that he couldn't do shit but freeze to death before he could even gravitate a motherfucking thing.
Because before he could realize,
and gone.
Which was cold because he was about to absorb her.
Yeah.
And I was like, she's supposed to stab him with the needle.
That's what I thought was going to happen.
And she stabbed herself. And she stabbed herself, and then you just heard the like Supergirl must be in a fire. They get the fire power up. That fucking and all of a sudden she went what? That nigga was gone.
Man, when I saw that earth shake, I thought she was just gonna like toss him up in the air and then like nope, gone. Goodbye.
She blasted this nigga out the
I will say this: the CGI in this episode was very well. Like they were like, we got the last few millions of dollars. We're gonna lay them all out in the end.
Use all this shit.
We can't take it with us, dog. We under budget.
We under budget. Bring tall towers out the ground every motherfucking way.
The way that we finally realized that the time loop has been altered. We see them run back in, and now Fitz and May know that they make it as far as they know, and so they run back in to try and save Mac and save Polly and Robin. And as they're coming out, it collapses, and Fitz.
First of all, when it collapsed on Fitz,
I was like, "Oh, that nigga gone."
Oh shit!
As soon as that shit fell, I was like, "Oh, that nigga did."
No, I thought that shit fell in his head because the way he said his vital. I was like, please God, tell me they finna show splattered head on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Shit like 2D.
Shit just look like Play-Doh on the ground.
Oh man! Just Ian the Casteker's head, just like omelet style, just
like grilled
like
cheese,
hard boiled, like
grilled cheese and tomato soups.
Oh shit, that is so nasty. Anyway, that's not what happened.
That motherfucker had
Mac picked up rocks that you should never be able to pick up. Those are some big ass boulders, dog. How you not got superpowers? You pick up them big ass rocks.
Look, he on HGH.
He on the Lord power. That nigga got the Lort in him.
What is this, Medea?
He got the Lort in him, and he picked up them rocks. So he's alive, but not really.
Because he was like, I'm gonna think my leg's broken. I was like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I was like, okay, broke leg.
Until that showed a whole piece of side in it.
So I was like, I bet his legs are just gone. And he's gonna be.
That's what I thought it was. I thought his legs were gone.
Legless. Okay, I was like, legless. I get it. Then be like, that's some Professor X type shit. They can't let him do that.
No, he go legless. They gave Yo-Yo new arms.
Right.
They got robot legs.
He have robot legs.
He got robot legs.
Shit. But that's not what happened.
Can you imagine him doing one leg up sex with Simmons with robot legs? All you hear is the spring.
Oh man. But so he's dead. He
gone because he had a piece of siding
all through the chest, all up into from the stomach into the chest cavity.
Shout out to Mac for not telling him to look down.
Nah, he was. I just need the rest.
He was like, you good, Turbo?
I just need the rest.
Let me tell you something. At that moment, this is when you go past Shield protocol.
I'm so tired.
No, this is when you go past. Shield. You go past protocol. At that moment, you say, Fitz,
I just need the rest.
I've been holding this for a special moment.
It's okay.
You want some of this cocaine?
Just need the rest. You know?
No, you want some of this cocaine right now. Like,
it's okay.
Why do you sound like a hype dog? I'm tired, baby. I'm tired.
Why is it so dark?
Why is it so dark? Mac, I'm cold.
It's fucking noon, motherfucker. Hey, what the fuck dark are you?
Who turned the air conditioning on?
It's cold here, Mac.
That motherfucker's.
They split him up, and so they get to the scene at the end where they're doing a memorial for him.
Dude, not even that. When they went to go tell Simmons,
yes.
When Mac was standing there and Simmons, shouts out to Elizabeth Henstridge.
Was that some fucking acting or what?
Because to watch her entire face,
I'm telling you. Okay, if you're listening to this and you're not an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan and you may not watch it or whatever, you don't want to go through all the seasons to get to here. Go watch the season finale somewhere and watch the scene where this happens. You don't even have to know what's going on. You just have to get to this part, and you will see that she loved that motherfucker.
Because like Elizabeth Henstridge's face, she has this smile that they're back. I'm happy. Oh man! And then it's the smile that, oh no, we lost somebody. Yeah. But then it goes from oh no, we lost somebody to oh no, we lost Fitz.
Yeah. So you go to this end scene where you think they're doing a memorial for Fitz, and as it turns out, it's actually Coulson's retirement. And then we are reminded of something, which is
he about to die.
Well, we're also reminded of the fact that Fitz, the actual original Fitz from the timeline, is going to in cryogenic storage,
and he's going to the future.
For the future. So there's a Fitz in space who is from the actual timeline, who was never sent to the future.
Right.
That's future Fitz that came back in time. Right. The original Fitz is still in space. So all she's got to do is find where in space he is, unfreeze him, and then he's fine again. So
thaw him out lightly to give him a little warm.
He won't be aware of the most recent history of time that they have.
No, he won't be aware.
Which will create some interesting things for the next season, because for sure, one of the Fitz is for sure the replacement Fitz fucked her.
Oh, the replacement Fitz.
Future Fitz was getting in there, right?
Future Fitz was like, this ain't in this timeline.
Will original timeline Fitz be jealous of future Fitz?
You ever seen Multiplicity?
Well, that comes up in Legion at one point.
Yeah. Oh my God. So
Coulson gets dropped off.
Now let's talk about this. You see the remembrance of plaque.
Yes.
And you think they're doing it for Leopold Fitz.
Right.
And you don't see it till they finally post it up
that it's for Coulson.
And like he gave his life. And you like, no.
A couple of times.
No.
Yeah.
And then Daisy's, because like you see them all take a toast, and you think they're doing it in celebration of Fitz.
Right.
They're doing it to Coulson.
Right.
And you hear he walking, and then Daisy was like, how long did Simmons say you have? He was like,
a couple of days.
Maybe weeks. And they get dropped on in real Tahiti. With May.
Tahiti.
With May.
Tahiti, though.
That's the real Tahiti.
Well.
No, don't do this. Don't do this to my emotions. I still ain't got over Avengers Infinity War.
What are your thoughts on the season? You did not like the season at the beginning. You were not feeling it at the start.
Because I thought they had gone completely far from the connection, what it was supposed to be to the MCU.
It all got brought back by the time it was over.
And luckily they
start way out in space and pulled everything right back in.
And they did it, and then even acknowledged shit that was happening.
I think it's another great season for them. I thought it was a really, really great season without relying on too much of shit that wasn't working. They really pulled in new characters and made them work. They've worked time strings here that have worked out really well. The way they've played around with time has been great. Deke is gone. Deke is now gone. He disappeared. When they broke the time loop, he disappeared just like he said he would. So the theory was correct in that aspect. But for sure, you can break a time loop, which I thought was interesting to find out. They do have another season coming.
Which is the smartest shit they're about to do with this.
This was a great decision on their part.
This is a great decision.
So they're getting another season, 13 episodes. But it'll be their final season.
But it will not premiere until after Avengers 4.
Which is great, because one of the questions that we had last week, we were questioning how will they handle this when they come back, the fact that half the universe is gone. We have to go through this thing, we have to do this. Now they can skip the whole process.
They can skip all that.
Because that Avengers 4 will reset the universe in some way.
It'll be a new reality.
They can either address the new reality, or they can just live in that reality.
Yeah, and they could have faint visions and things like that, inclinations and stuff.
They can write the whole season as something related to that if they know what's going on.
When we saw the mid-season finale, we all thought was the end. When Coulson was on the table, it was like, yo, 5 years been a dream.
Right.
So this shows that the writers of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. know pretty much what they're doing, where they're going. And like you just said, to put it after Avengers 4, whatever reality is at that point is what they focus on.
Yeah.
So basically now the writers are talking to the Russos. They're watching the movie. they're like, okay, so all this happens. References we would have used to different Avengers now have to change.
Yeah, and they can work that for the next season. I think it's a great way.
I don't know what's happening on Legion any more than you do.
I'm not quite sure. This was an episode that stepped away from a lot of what we'd been dealing with. There are so many times in this show where I'm just like, that was an hour and we moved an inch and a half.
And I still don't know. So
at one point there was a little black thing that broke out of an egg that crawled in,
and it keeps crawling in his ear.
And now someone's setting them somewhere. Someone's putting eggs out, and they're driving people crazy. It made them think that the Admiral was a giant one of those things about.
I don't know who's sitting there's. This to find out how powerful Amal Farouk is without his body, first and foremost. Right. And then how David is still developing more powers. It's like,
and it's still learning.
Is this a manifestation of one of David's personalities? Is this Farouk actually making this come to fruition? How does this work? And it's just really, really interesting. It's like, who is the villain?
Yeah, it's very difficult to tell because, there's this issue where David is now just trying to get to an understanding of what his power is. And you see that kind of as this episode ends, where he finally traps this thing.
Yeah.
As it's giant and it's running at him, and by the time it gets to him, he's enlarged himself so that thing is so tiny he can put into a jar that he makes appear out of nowhere, and then just like make, you know what I mean? Like, you can tell there's moments of control in what he's doing.
Yeah.
But he's in this constant chess match that's going on
with himself too.
With himself, trying to figure out what's real and what isn't. With the past and future incarnations of Sydney, which he can't tell is really for him or against him.
He can't tell if it's Amy or if it's freaking Lenny.
Yeah, so his mind is being fucked over hard, and it's rolling over on everybody else.
But let's go to the original thing with this show, which we've been saying since last year. That is the beautiful thing about Legion. You have to make sure you watch it, pay attention,
put the phone down,
and they will even tell when they do the next episodes, when the new episodes premiere. Did this happen? Possibly on Legion.
Yeah, ostensibly
on Legion. So it's like, you have to focus, because it'll make you think, did I miss that, or did it not happen? Did it happen for real? And they're going with it. Now, I think at some point we're gonna have to hit that point where we start streamlining.
You need to get me to a thing. You gotta lead me down a path of something.
Because you
can't fuck with my mind enough. Now get me to where this is going.
Right.
We've been talking about this body we're trying to get to. What happens? Is he getting the body? Are we gonna
Because the shit was weird with the kids with the fat body.
Dude.
What the fuck is this? Like, if I was a child and I was hired as an extra to do that, I wouldn't sleep.
I would not be sleeping for a while. That is not a cool looking character.
And so,
I mean, it's cool looking, but it is not like fun as a kid.
What happened? Mr. Potato Head had gastric bypass.
I'd like to apologize to all the listeners that heard Jay explode on the mic right there.
Yeah, I apologize to everybody too.
He got super hot with that one. You'll have to turn that down in post, probably.
Yeah, I'm turning it down a little bit.
I don't. What the fuck is up with this? This facility is so goddamn weird.
I don't know what it is.
First of all, there's a dude in a wicker basket head that's running the motherfucker. He's got his head is all in a fucking brace. For what reason, I have no idea.
I just don't know. I don't know.
I hope it gets somewhere. That's going to be important.
We need to get streamlined. Like I said, we need to get streamlined, because it is good that the show takes you down this mental journey.
Right.
But now you can't give me 13 episodes of a mental journey, and I don't know where any of this
Jackson
went.
Pollock. It's just like it's just like, yeah, those are cool looking splotches. What does that mean?
What does this mean?
I want to see the sailboat. You know what I mean?
I hope, man. Listen.
Over to the Berlanti verse, Supergirl. Now, the previous episode. Now we're recording this on Tuesday. So last night's episode is aired, which we can talk about also.
I'd rather talk about that. First of all, let's go real quick.
Yes.
They are doing an alien Alzheimer's angle.
Yes.
Which is...
John and Mirren are having an alien Alzheimer's moment.
That's crazy. But now in this episode, they're still trying to figure out how to cure Sam from Rain. And it's about one of the Covet's journal is stolen.
Right. So we finally get down to dealing with this thing that started the season about the whole Rao, the Book of Rao, and these people that were fanatics about that, and how that led to the start of Rain in the first place. You're finally trying to get to the full circle of this, which means you're bringing back Olivia. We're bringing back Olivia into this, and we're bringing back some of those old characters from the beginning. And now this is the callback that we were looking for.
Right, it's the payoff.
I need the payoff of what's going on here.
And one of the biggest things, I didn't know what they were going to do at first. This became a Guardian-centric episode. Now, we hadn't seen
very much so. We talked about this a lot. About where was his purpose and all of
like
this.
James Olsen was just there. And then you see Guardian, first of all, to have his elevator in the office and his password is Coltrane. I was like, that is the most nigga shit.
Here's some nigga shit going now.
There's some nigga shit going on. But it was dope to see that. But
are you excited about at some point hopefully seeing Guardian and Black Lightning meet each other and be like,
nigga,
look at us big tall niggas.
Two tall niggas, don't nobody know what we do.
Hey, are we the tallest niggas in our city and also the tallest nigga superheroes and
nigga,
also nobody knows who he is?
Nigga, did you dunk? Nigga, did you run? Nigga, you on the paper? Nigga, you run to school? It's just all nigga. I really feel like, okay, brother, because Jefferson appears to be
right
brother.
There,
brother.
First, James would be like, nigga, and Jefferson would be like, brother. And James would be like, brother, right.
But so Guardian gets shot in the head with an arm
straight in the goddamn face by a little, not even giving a fuck.
I mean, and his mask falls off, and then they catch him on video to see this James Olsen. Right. But the first thing
police also show up.
The police show up
and don't give a fuck about who's helping who. They just see a brother.
So there's Olivia, two other acolytes who are white men.
Right.
There is the younger girl Tanya.
Yeah.
And then there's James Olsen. James Olsen has his hands up.
Yeah.
I have no weapon. Olivia and the acolytes are like, it wasn't him.
Right.
4 cops still like, don't you move with their guns drawn. Yeah.
Accurate.
Pretty fucking
Accurate.
And then it goes a little bit further and telling what happened, and they said they're going to blackmail James, blah blah blah.
Right. They want the book back.
They want the book.
They're trying to build a world killer. They want the book back. Along while this is going on, you've got this subplot that's going on with Lena and Kara. That's one issue you've got happening, right?
You got Kara and Monel.
You got the Lena Kara Supergirl issue happening.
Yeah.
What do you feel about this thing that's happening? Because obviously Lena's making it very clear that she is not interested in somebody who's lying to her, and Kara has obviously been lying to her, and she's expressed that she doesn't want to fuck with Supergirl because she's got girlfriends who don't lie, but Kara is one of them, right?
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on what this is going to be? This is the start of the falling out.
I wonder, does Lena find out?
Here's the thing. Lena is a Luthor. Are you going to take us down this path where Lena falls in line with Luthor tradition and becomes a villain when she feels ultra betrayed by Kara / Supergirl? Ooh. Is this the process that happens? Or is this a thing where when Kara finally comes clean and explains, Lena gets it and they have this like...
this sisterhood moment?
Or an edgy thing where it's always kind of like half in, half out. You know what I mean? Is she this like sometimes down for good, sometimes whatever? Like I think
the friendship is going to be done. The Kara Lena friendship is going to be done throughout this, no matter what. The trust element and all of that, because now we know Lena can make kryptonite. Lena can make these different things.
Yeah.
So who's to say? One of the biggest things, I'm going to go back to that, was with Guardian and saying he was going to reveal his identity, right? And Lena was like, if you do it, I'm going to stand by your side. Which, first and foremost, shouts out to Lena Luthor. Stand by your man, girl.
Sticking with him. She's ready to get shot in the face, too.
She got some dick twice from him and was like, I'm going to stand up while you get you a vigilante.
Like, I would take some shit.
But the story that James said was really interesting. Take a listen.
You know how old I was the first time cops put cuffs on me? 7. I was 7 years old. My family and I were taking a vacation. And we're staying at this nice hotel. And my cousins and I, we decided to go out in the grounds and play hide and go seek.
I'll just say this is a sad ass story. But it's a true story of things that happen.
Right.
These are things that are expected, things that have happened, and it's life for people of color, for black men.
Absolutely.
And for one of the things is I appreciate.
I mean, we've been through this.
Yes.
You and I have been through this. I've got multiple stories. You've got multiple stories.
I appreciate the fact that the Supergirl writers address this.
Yeah.
And
not over the top.
No, not beating you over the head.
Not super. These are real conversations that have had.
Also, Mehcad Brooks, who plays James Olsen, when he was delivering that monologue, the emotion.
Yeah.
To have that emotion is something that somebody who's had to go through that in real life.
He's obviously got that experience.
You've had that experience. And so fast forward later, they get the whole situation settled. They stop Olivia from becoming a world killer.
Right.
Things like that.
The other subplot that's going on is you've got this issue with Ruby, who her mother tried to kill her.
Because she found out her mom was ring.
And now you've got Alex trying to get her back in the mode of being alive. And you've also got an opposite situation with John and Mirren, where you've got him losing his mind and you need somebody to keep him going. And somehow through all this, of course, Ruby
Mirren and Ruben
find each other.
They help each other.
And they're helping each other now, which I think is a sweet little subplot.
I like that.
Right?
I like that, how that worked out, definitely.
They're going to be...
But real quick, Alex said something that really stuck out to me in this episode. And some of you all might have picked it up, some of you all might not. She told Ruby, I'll protect you till my last breath.
Right.
Now, in situations like that.
That is often foreshadowing.
That
could be a thing. Mm-hmm. Do you think that she could be leaving the show? Or do you think her contract is up in the air and they wrote it just in case?
I think it might be a contractual issue. And they just want to see what happens. Of course, can the show move on without Shyla Lee? Yes.
Sure.
Do you want to? She's an essential part, but after her Maggie Sawyer angle, it's like, what really is? That's why they gave her the suit.
Right.
In a sense, to make it more productive for the character.
Yeah. It's tough when you have someone like Supergirl as your main character because she's so invincible.
Right.
That you have to create different types of side characters for her.
Hell, the Martian Manhunter is her side character.
Well, and the question becomes between
and
Alex
we don't even use him.
Between Alex and Guardian, what are these two roles? You know what I mean? Like, these are both people that don't really have powers, that are very athletic. Mm-hmm. But I mean, they're both just people that are going out there like.
It's sad to say, because you don't want to say that. Oh shit, we don't need her in this show, but it's an expendable role.
Yeah, well, you end up with situations trying to figure out ways to push a storyline for them, and oftentimes it doesn't fit. So who knows where that goes? They are going to Argo City for the season finale,
which we are finding out the Kryptonians survived, and basically Kara's mother's alive.
Yeah.
But before we go there, James ended up confronting Kara because he was going to tell Kara about the identity, all of that. And he said something that meant a lot to me, and I want to play it for you guys. What he said, how I felt, with everything. So here we go.
I wanted to fight that good fight. Because I think people like Tanya need to see heroes that look like me so they know what they're capable of.
Yeah.
So when the time is right, on my own terms, I'm going to take that mask off. Mask off. Fuck the mask off.
What?
That sounds like a great Instagram meme for later.
Oh shit!
Yeah, they are going to Argo City in the season finale. That is a version of Krypton that survived with Kryptonians on it. It'll be interesting.
Man, let's go to the Flash. All right. So DeVoe's full powers on display now.
Yeah, and the show works best. I mean, I've had some problems with this season, and I think it works best when his powers are at full display. When he's really out there doing his thing, I think that's when it's best. And so when he's not, and he really gets out there. I mean, you see the full blast of his powers in this one, and then he goes away for most of the rest of the episode.
Dude, the operatic beginning.
Oh yeah.
And to bring in David Ramsey, use the Diggle element, and the way he does it with using every meta human.
Yeah.
It was just like...
Yeah, he goes through all the steps so you can see every bit of who he's got.
Did you appreciate the one shot like I did, though?
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate it so... Oh, my God. I was like...
Oh, yeah.
Who watched Daredevil season 1 and was like,
this is how we're doing this.
We need this.
It's a great inclusion, and it shows that they're, again, getting to this point where they're like, let's dump the budget into this motherfucker and let's put on the show for him, which is great. I thought it was really great. How do you feel about the fact that this season's gone a little comedic?
They're trying to keep it where it's always been stated. Flash is the lighter show. But my biggest issue is the stakes are so dire You don't need comedic.
You got a guy who's getting ready to wipe out the intelligence of the entire world. And in the meantime, you have like Tom Cavanaugh wasting his time doing these sticky bits, and like, you know, Caitlin is sitting here trying to figure out how to get Killer Frost out, and there's just like Cecile is being wasted right now with the stuff that she's doing. That's a good actor.
I don't think she's being wasted, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because of the trailer for the season finale that's gonna come air tonight while we're taping this.
Right.
Everything they've been doing with her being empathic and telepathic is going to lead up to helping them with her.
How do you feel about the training sequences where he was busy, when Barry was trying to like figure out trusting them and like getting them involved in that? I mean, I thought it was a big deal.
I liked it, you know, teaching them how to use flash time.
Yeah. Well, I think when Cisco finally like exploded on him and was like, get your fucking shit together, basically, like,
motherfucker, we here.
Yeah, like we're here for you, man. Like, what the fuck? Like, this is the thing. This is what we're all in. We're all doing this. You're all worried about losing people because of Ralph. Like, you gotta. We
know what we
count on us. We're here.
We know what we signed up for, basically.
Yeah.
I'm for it. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool with it. I just want to see where this all plays out. I hope the culmination of DeVoe. The culmination of DeVoe isn't wrapped up real quick. We know Marlize will play a major part in it.
Right.
How much of a part?
There are some screen photos out from the season finale. Marlize is with Team Flash while some shit's going on. So I don't know how like involved.
I wonder, does she die? Does she go to prison? Does she go back to Africa?
This is also another show that has a lot of characters on it. Do you feel that everybody's getting used to their full potential?
Nope.
Are there some people that need to leave Team Flash?
Cisco does.
You think Cisco needs to go, right?
Give him his own show on CWC or on the DC.
That'd be a great idea.
Let him and Gypsy do something else, because he is not being utilized. Danielle Panabaker, your whole thing has been, you started out the season, you exited Flash time, you made. You know, you have a new timeline. You pulled him out to Speed Force. Now Killer Frost and her do these things.
I have an idea for Cisco that I think is the best way to do it. He's a breacher, right?
Yeah.
His job is to breach into different Earths and different places. I think that scattered throughout the 5 seasons, they should find about 10 episodes where Cisco is breached in to help with something throughout the 5 shows. So you can involve him where he still gets about 10 episodes a year in different places, but it's scattered throughout these different seasons of different shows.
It'll look
and
real.
He's breached in for shit.
I just want to say for the record,
I think that would be fucking great.
I think we have already racial issues.
That's a great crossover style, though.
Listen, Negro, we have racial issues in Freeland already.
He can cut through into Titans. He can cut through into
the last thing we need is
you could spread him across like 7 live action shows.
Is a hipster Latino dude with a Michael Jackson jacket coming in and out.
Perfect.
Coming in and out of free.
He could have a flirtation with Anissa.
Jefferson Pierce
would stomp his ass
the fuck out of here. You understand how young my baby is?
Dude, I think that's a great idea, though. When you throw Titans in there, I mean, I think you gotta. And then what if then he jumps into Swamp Thing?
And then we got Doom Patrol as well.
I think that's like 7 or 8 shows he could breach through over the course of their seasons. He could do an episode or 2 on each one. Yeah. I think it's a great idea to keep, and then you take him off the Flash, which is what we need to do. Which is remove some characters.
Speaking of season finale, there's a season finale at Arrow.
Shit, dude.
This one was a good one. This culmination of this season has been kind of weird because the first half of the season started out with your bad guy being Caden James.
And also this insistence on this Team Arrow shit.
Right.
You went through this whole thing of like figuring out why these guys were struggling to get along and like trying to figure out whether you gave a fuck. You hate Renee.
I want Renee shot in the face. In the face.
In the face.
Dude.
But the season finale really wrapped everything up in a bow. As soon as Ricardo Diaz took control of this season,
it put the team back together. They realized they needed to be a team to defeat him.
And he had to go through and like Oliver had to go through and make amends with everybody. And you knew this was the season finale, so we had to kind of get down to who was going to be with who.
Well, he did a great way of making amends with everybody. Hey, I'm proud of you.
It was the handshake tour.
That nigga was on the handshake, my nigga.
Every time it was hey, my nigga, let me shake hands.
I wonder how much hand sanitizer was used.
Everybody, nope, just hands and butts.
I would like to bring this point up real quick.
Hands on butts.
If you've seen the season finale, in the SCPD, it is daytime. It is daytime.
It is never daytime in the SCPD.
Everybody is still in their uniforms. Renee is the only one with a mask on. Was like, the fuck, nigga, that's the FBI. until Samantha Watson says, basically, you think I don't know who the fuck you are? And it's the first time ever we see not only just Oliver, but the whole team being geared up, just perusing the police department. Because
masks off, out in the open.
Like,
we here, nigga.
Like, completely, all of them completely alike.
Mask on, fuck it, mask on, mask on, fuck it, mask on.
I mean, it was great. I like the way this show has gone. Because there's been here's the thing. There's been so much of this show that's been about maintaining a secret identity, and now we get to this part where it's just like we're throwing that shit all the way out the window. It's over. Now we all know. Everybody knows.
Well,
Lauren
also
Hartman's cleared.
Also, but that's the thing. The storyline with the Green Arrow, for those who don't know, like Spider-Man does in Civil War, the comics, he reveals his identity.
Yes.
So
he finally, at some point, this is what we've been building to. This whole thing has been about this.
But the police knowing and law enforcement knowing, because the only law enforcement that really knew were Argus.
Right.
You know, because at first Amanda Waller knew, and then of course Lila knows. Yeah. So for the FBI to know, now during the Oliver tour, we didn't realize that he had made a deal with the FBI.
Correct.
That kept everyone exonerated except himself.
Right.
Which was kind of
it was the biggest move he could make. It was a man going, I've made the mistakes, I've got all these people here, I will save them all by giving myself up for their freedom. It's the biggest thing he could do. He saved his wife, he saved Felicity, which I'm sure some people hated. Quentin ends up setting himself up to get Diaz's location. You think for a moment that Quentin may be just a fool going after Laurel, but what he's really trying to do is set himself up.
Because he was like, he got a pacemaker. Oh, yeah.
Right. He tells Oliver specifically about the pacemaker that he has.
Yeah, and he never told Oliver before.
Right.
He's never told Oliver before.
And that's what gave him the insight as to what he was doing there. And so he ends up getting shot. He ends up going through a death. We had talked about the fact that Paul Blackthorne is not returning. Katie Lott shows up just in time for that.
Which was a nice closure for that.
We get all the right goodbyes that you need to get out of there.
I think that was the perfect closure for that, because it would have seemed very weird and awkward to not have Katie Lotz come in.
And appropriately, Arrow sheds itself of a character like it should. The same way the season before it shed itself of characters. It got rid of William's mother.
Yes.
People there's no room for. They shed those people. So
but Quentin Lance always had room.
Were you also in tears at the end of the show? I was bawling. I was like, I'm just gonna let it out.
I just couldn't help it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I couldn't help it. If any of you all are listening and you tell me you watched Arrow and you didn't shed a goddamn tear, you are a soulless creature.
Yeah.
I shed it because even though it's like, again, I just as much as those characters have spent it, those of us who've been invested in the show, I've spent 7 years watching Paul Blackthorne.
Right.
I spent 7 years watching this man. So to watch his character leave.
This was we are now to a point where I feel like we've had a lot more good seasons of Arrow than bad.
Yes. We've gotten past season 3 and 4.
The 3 and 4 were the tough seasons, but outside of that, in these 6 seasons, 1, 2, 5, and 6 have been pretty solid.
Yes, they have.
They've been the last 2 seasons I think have been really, really good for them.
They've rebounded because again, the bar that was set in season 2 was so high.
Yeah.
It was surreal. And so to match that bar or go above it was a challenge, and they've met it.
So and they're going to go even bigger next season.
This is going to be interesting. I'm going to tell you what this is. I've been telling people what this news is. So at the upfront, Stephen Amell announced that they are bringing Gotham to the Arrowverse.
You're going to find Gotham now.
And officially they are bringing Kathy Kane, who is Batwoman.
Or Kate Kane, depending on which version.
Whichever, is Kate
I'm assuming it's going to be the latest version, which is the Kate Kane version.
Yeah, I can see Kate.
She's a daughter of a military dude in this version. She's an openly lesbian superhero, which is probably more progressive in what they want to do on a show like Arrow and Berlantiverse. That seems to be more fitting of them.
Well, it works.
Batwoman is the current version of Batwoman is one I like. I actually read some of her stuff in the comics right now. She's super gritty. She's a little take no prisoners.
But
she's willing to kill to get the job done.
Here's the issue I have with this version of Batwoman, with the Kate Kane version. Her whole purpose of being is her obsession with Bruce's Batman, not Bruce Wayne, but with Batman.
Sure.
Does that have to open the door to
You don't ever have to see Batman to know that she's a fan of him. He's already. I mean, there's already been talk that Batman.
I mean, yeah, there has been.
You don't have to show him on screen though. I think Berlanti has been given an opportunity to use a character, and he's taken the one that he got an opportunity to use.
No, I mean, I have no problem with it.
I don't think you'll ever see Batman.
But I'm gonna tell you what I did. But I did. This is my original thought. I told everybody when they announced this.
Yeah,
you're getting a Bat. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, get excited. This is a good character, man.
I have no problem with
Kane
it.
Is a
badass,
interesting, badass fucking character.
Here's the beautiful thing. She's introduced in the crossover.
Yeah,
you know what that means. Kate Kane and Sarah Lance are gonna be boning.
I hope so.
You have listening. If you are listening right now, I want you to bookmark
put the money on it right now.
Right now. Kate Kane and Sarah Lance gonna get it on.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna drive a wedge between Ava Sharp and whatever Sarah Lance got.
Which we're gonna talk about because I want to talk to you about that going into season 4. Also, that's gonna happen in Arrow. Oliver will have the goatee.
We'll finally get the goatee.
But
Stephen Amell had been anti-goatee
for the law. He never wanted to do it. But it's possibly gonna be short, so do not expect it to be the entire season.
It'll probably be an Easter egg.
Yeah, because what they're saying is season 7 will do flash forwards.
There'll be some time jumps.
So we'll see all of that.
Right.
Let's go into Krypton. I missed this episode of Krypton, so this is all you.
Yeah. Zod, who is General Zod, his name is actually Drew. It's Drew Zod. We find out that he is actually Seg and Lyta's kid, which is very interesting, which means your Genesis program goes out the window at some point, or something happens in which they get it together.
Colin Salmon is their kid?
Yeah. Yeah, which is interesting because genetically that's a very odd thing to pull off, to have a man that size and that dark come from those two. That's that is some interesting DNA shit. But hey, maybe that's how it works on Krypton. I think that's
everybody has British accents.
Doomsday again makes another appearance. They find out that his containment unit is not going to keep him contained when they tried to move him so that Zod couldn't get to him. So we are probably going to end up with some Doomsday in this. I'm interested to see how that plays, or maybe they can shut it down before it happens. This is an Adam Strange free episode. We saw at the previous episode Adam Strange went to a whole different time.
Yeah.
You don't see him at all in this. This is a completely Adam, which is interesting because this episode is entitled Hope, which is the only episode without Adam Strange, maybe the only one.
Called Hope. That is funny.
Darren Vex, Nissa's father, is a survivor. He ends up getting captured. Jax Ur's trying to question what happened. Now we find out that Jax Ur was Val-El's tutor at one point, was his mentor, that they worked together, and so she has an issue with Darren Vex because he's the one who sentenced Val-El to death. And so he does escape her at some point, but she already implanted this thing on his neck, so she fucks him over. But he's around somewhere out in the snow. And then I think that Seg should just lock down Lyta and Nissa. I think that's
make it happen. I've been like, yo, you go.
There's this whole argument over who he's gonna be with, and it's just like, why don't you just change the process, man?
Have your full free love.
Everybody seems to respect each other here. Just make it a thing.
Make it a full.
We also get a full-on assault on the voice of Rao, or Brainiac Sentry now, as he's become to be known. It does cost a few lives, so Seg's hope, which is all he's got left, is still getting niggas killed. But we do get the final full-form Brainiac by the time this episode is done, which is solid.
Okay,
you see him in the full makeup. You got to go back and watch.
I'm gonna go back. I definitely am. I mean, it's not like
it's on. And the season finale, I believe, is next week.
Shouts out to Krypton for just getting a season 2 renewal.
It has been given season 2, which I think it's earned. It's a good show.
Shouts out to Cameron Cuff and the rest of the crew. My buddy Jason Emmons speaks very highly of him. The Gotham season finale.
Yeah, I thought it was a good tie-up of everything that happened throughout the season.
It closed a lot of stuff. I like the final battles.
Yeah, I like that you finally get to this point where the Joker's trying to enact his plot. He's got a game plan that's beyond this.
And the only person that can help him is Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah. You see Nigma and Lee finally get captured and turned over to Hugo Strange before this is all over, so who the hell knows what's going to happen to them. Also, you get the greatest revenge fucking scheme of all fucking time.
Oswald Cobblepot is the
Robin Lord Taylor is the
motherfucking man.
Holy shit.
You find out the entire time.
So, to wind this back very quickly, at one point, Tabitha kills Oswald's mother, okay? Kills Oswald's mother at the behest of her brother, and he tells her he's going to get her for this. Tells her. She falls in love with Butch Gilzine, who was Cobblepot's boy at one point, that she stole away from him along in this process, that Butch rolled with that whole shit and was like, fuck you, Penguin. She killed your mom, deal with it. He becomes Grundy, Fucking Oswald finds Hugo Strange, who is able to turn him back into Butch Gilzine just to shoot his
him
ass
in front of her.
Tabitha. That is full-fledged, straight-on crazy, sociopathic, psychopathic.
I mean, he friended Grundy.
Did the whole thing just to get back to this point. Knew where Strange was the whole time. That is revenge, buddy. There's shit like that in this show is like, this is why you watch it. If you start from the beginning and you follow Robin Lord Taylor as Cobblepot, starting as a manservant essentially to Fish Mooney, and his rise to becoming this dude who has this level of heart of revenge in him, you're like, that is a bad guy.
Okay, that has
right
been
there.
now I will admit, I was like, are you fucking
that's solid
serious?
You really see the maturation of Bruce in this. He finally comes to this point where you realize he's embracing the mantle.
And he started to do the voice. He's, where is he? Yeah. Where is he?
He's embracing it. Hopefully, they talk about they're doing a time jump in season 5.
So yeah, we're gonna. By the time season 5 comes back, we won't be 6-8 months or 1 year. We'll be a couple of years down the line.
That's the rumor that's going on. It's been pretty much confirmed by John Stevens
that this is gonna partially adapt Scott Snyder's 0 year.
Yeah,
this is the very first year he puts on the cape and cowl. He gets everything. He's out here fighting crime. Gotham is trying to. It can't resettle because all these villains.
It's based off of the year 52, so it was one of the redefining times of Gotham. It does include a lot of Riddler. It does include a lot of Penguin in it, which I think is going to be good. It's going to be a very Bruce becoming Batman heavy 13 episodes, which I'm down for.
Man, I'm. You know what? The season finale was real good. I have my issues with Gotham, as many of us do. I can't lie. But the fact that we got that culmination of the way things wrapped up, to see Barbara use Bruce to kill Ra's al Ghul.
Oh yeah,
different things we saw. I'm pretty.
That was great.
And then when the league, the niggas was like, you know what? You proved yourself. We here for our loyalty. Here you go. Barbara was like, men are the fucking problem, and murdered all these dudes.
You see this breakdown too of Gotham now as it's broken. Once they blow the bridges and everybody breaks down, you see them break down into their little minions, where they've got Firefly's got her crew, Man-Bat's got a crew, Scarecrow's got a. I mean, they've all breaking down, taking their little piece of the pie of what's left.
Which is how Gotham becomes. Now, if we would have known this is what we're going to build to, I could have been more into this.
But now you've got a reason to go. Like if you pick this show up though from the beginning right now and you get to watch this, the payoff is coming. This is a solid.
But that's
payoff.
a hard thing to tell people. Something
it
the
is.
Payoff.
It is. But that part of a show is you got to buy in from the start, and that's what I felt like I've been free to do, and that's why I'm enjoying this right now.
Well, look, guys, I wanted to get to you all's Twitter questions and Facebook questions.
We had a long episode.
So I apologize.
We will answer these though in a future episode.
We will answer these. Probably we might do a special little episode just to answer your questions. And again, if we do it, it's only going to be through Patreon. So
I think Patreon's a good place.
You need to make sure you become a Patreon. Go to thetrustysidekick.com. Click on the Patreon link. Become a patron. Become a sidekick with us. Join one of the tiers. We will have exclusive content for you guys and a bunch of other things you guys can get. What is going on for your week, Mr. Hill?
Oh man, we got a big one. I'm going to be down in San Diego all weekend. First of all, I'll be in Orange County on Thursday night. I'll be at God, what is the name of the place? It's called Our Place. It's called Our Place for the Driggs show. It's a great show. You can find all my information. I'll give you that in a second. But this weekend, I'll be down in San Diego. I'll be at Twigs and University Heights on Saturday. I'll be at the Comedy Palace on Sunday, and I'll be at the Comedy Palace again on Tuesday. So for all that information, you go to itsbobbyhill.com. I'll have all my dates on there. You can find me on social media at mocha_Jesus on Twitter and Instagram. Bobby Hill Comedy on Facebook. It's bobbyhill@gmail.com by email. What about you, man? What do you have going on this week?
Really not a lot. This is not this Friday, excuse me. Wednesday, by the time you guys hear this, I'm going to be doing a show in Sherman Oaks. I don't know the address and the name of the venue by heart. Please forgive me. I have it written down somewhere. It is not on my website. Don't you judge me. Thursday, I'm doing a private show at DreamWorks Animation. That has been fun. Adria Walden runs that. And I was honored to be asked back for it, so it's going to be a dope thing. I was supposed to be doing a show Sunday at the Improv, but they got the dates wrong. But
it happens.
Hey, you know what? But it happens. So I can't be upset. Things will fill up the schedule as they normally do because it's Memorial Day weekend. So stuff will happen. Find me on Twitter, Instagram at Mr. J Washington, MrJaywashington. Make sure you check out the Trusty Sidekick podcast, TrustySidekick.com, at Sidekick Trusty on Twitter, Trusty Sidekick Pod on Instagram, TrustySidekickPod@gmail.com. Check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/JWashington80. I'm putting up a whole bunch of stuff on there. Now, I want to tell you guys something real quick. If I've been stuttering and slurring a few things a lot this episode,
Jay's high as shit, y'all.
I'm high as shit. So
he's been trying to remember stuff he needs to say. Thank
literally,
good we have production notes, you know. Thank the good Lord we have production notes.
If we didn't have production notes, this would have been a train.
The good Lord of
wreck.
spaghetti.
Man, this would have been a train wreck. So
we survived it.
But I think that about does everything. It's, again,
that about does everything.
Again,
everything has been done.
Go to our Patreon, please. We are asked you guys support a lot of other things we do. Support our Patreon, man. We're gonna need you guys there, and we're gonna give you guys a lot. Is that it?
That's it.
With that being said, we wrapped up episode 82 of the Trusty Sidekick podcast here on the Laugh At It Podcast Network with me, your resident supervillain, Mr. J Washington.
And me, your resident superhero, Bobby Hill.
We will holler at you guys next week. Take care. Enjoy your Memorial Day holiday.
Hell yeah.
Please remember what Memorial Day means.
If you're in San Diego, come see me.
Go see him.
Let me know you want tickets. I'll get you into something.
So with that, we'll holler at you guys later. Take care. We're out of here. Peace.
That's what's up.
Laugh Factory Network.